So with some unfortunate news, depending how I guess you look at it, the New England Patriots are going to be releasing wide receiver DeVante Parker after failing to try to find a trade partner. It did come out in the recent days that the Patriots were trying to ship off not just DeVante Parker, but also Juju Smith-Schuster. Ironically, they just signed Juju Smith-Schuster this time last year, and not even a year ago, they signed DeVante Parker to a contract extension. Talk about something absolutely blowing up in your face in a matter of no time. You know what? I guess it is true what they say is that, unfortunately, for the wide receiver position, unless you're an anomaly, once you kind of reach that 30-year mark, you just take a steep decline. Because in 2022, DeVante Parker showed some real promise with the Patriots. Then during training camp, I want to say it was just this past offseason, they signed him to a 2-year contract extension worth $10.8 million. The 31-year-old starts the year on a really bad note. I mean, he gets injured in training camp, but he still looks like the Patriots' number one guy in training camp. Doesn't start week one, and then is just flustered the rest of the year. And now that 31-year-old wide receiver will be looking for a new home. Now, DeVante Parker, that was a move that I actually really liked for the Patriots during the offseason in 2022. We were coming off of a 2021 season where the Patriots had just made the postseason, got blown out, but they still made it. Things were looking up with Mac Jones, and they were building around him with a guy who was going to be this big body, outside perimeter 50-50 ball catcher who, in contested catch situations, was going to come down for you. I mean, DeVante Parker referred to himself as Mr. 80-20, which in 2022 at least was realistic. Kind of trying to find that replacement for what N'Keal Harry ultimately was supposed to be. The Patriots made a trade with Miami in a rare in-division trade, which really just never happens. But the Patriots ended up giving up a 2022 third-round pick while they acquired DeVante Parker and a 2022 fifth-round pick. He ended up going on throughout his 2-year tenure with the Patriots from 2022 to 2023, putting up 64 catches for 933 yards and 3 touchdowns throughout 2016. Now, ultimately, the reason that the Patriots are going to be releasing DeVante Parker is, one, because he's 31 years old. The Patriots are kind of in this rebuild situation. They're trying to get younger. They're trying to build for the future. He quite obviously is not going to be a part of that. But two, he doesn't fit what Gerard Mayo is trying to kind of build up. And it's not just physically on this team on game day, but also behind the scenes, in practices, having guys that want to play for the person next to them, which is something that Alex Van Pelt, Patriots offensive coordinator, said himself that he wants with the guys around him. DeVante Parker just is never able to take self-blame. He's not able to take self-criticism. Reminds me of that time, I want to say it was in the Raiders game this past season, where Mac Jones delivers a perfect ball down the sidelines to DeVante Parker to get the Patriots into field goal position and win the game against the Raiders, which they ultimately lost. DeVante Parker, after the game, was asked about that play, and he said, basically, that it wasn't in reach for him. And we all saw that it was literally in his hands. He said, oh, it just barely touched my fingertips. No, DeVante, it was right in your hands, and we all saw the play. We all have evidence, so just own up to it. But rather, instead of that, he threw Mac Jones under the bus. In at least that case, that specific scenario, Mac Jones did not deserve it. The reason the Patriots are also releasing DeVante Parker, at least right now, which, look, I'm going to say it straight up, I'm not a fan of them releasing him right now. Look, if you want to get rid of him, that's fine. You want to trade him right now, that's perfectly fine. But the pre-June 1st cut is actually the worst case scenario that the Patriots could put themselves in. So clearly what this says to me is they want guys out of this building at all costs. No matter how it affects them against the cap, they want those guys out of the building at all costs and are trying to build up this atmosphere as soon as humanly possible. Not just that, but when trying to attract new free agent wide receivers here to New England, they want to be able to say, look, we don't have much guys. We promise that nobody is going to take your snaps if you come here in New England. You are going to be our true number one guy, number two guy, and you're going to get quality snap counts. Before we continue on today's video, though, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsors of this channel over at Aura. Guys, right now you can get a free 14-day trial, that is 2 weeks, to make sure that you or your family members tell everybody you know about this opportunity, because they will basically give you a 14-day free trial where they will scan the internet and make sure that none of your private information is being used illegally, being sold to robocallers, that your address is not on the black web, that your phone number, your credit card information, all of that important stuff is not being utilized without your knowledge. Let's hear about that. Hey guys, sorry to cut the video real quick, but I had a very important question that I had to ask you, and that is, have you ever Googled yourself, or maybe a friend, or maybe a family member Googled themselves and saw their private information being used? Maybe like their name, their phone number, their social security number, their address, maybe their credit card information? God knows I have, and the only reason that I was able to find that and take care of it was because of today's sponsor over at Aura. So what Aura is an identity protection service. And what they do is they go ahead for you, so you don't got to do the hard work, and they scour the internet for any of your information being used illegally that you didn't want them to use. The other great part is that they'll monitor your credit. They'll see if your phone number is being used to robocallers, which, if you don't know what those guys are, they're essentially the ones that call you about 5 times a day and absolutely annoying the heck out of you. And then sometimes when you do answer, it's just a creepy breathing voice on the other end. I mean, just today alone, I got about 6 of those. Because little do you know, these data brokers are actually trying to sell your information to robocallers, to spammers who are trying to find out your own personal information, such as where you live. So what Aura will do is they'll essentially send you an email or notification saying that, hey, someone's trying to use your phone number. Someone's trying to access this information about you. Do you want us to delete it from the web? In which I would expect you to say, yes, get rid of it. Unfortunately, in today's society, a lot of threats that we all face on a day-to-day basis come online, and unfortunately, the scary part is that we can't always see it. Aura's gonna come in, protect you, protect your family from threats that we can't see and we don't even know are coming. And there's a lot of different websites out there that do identity protection, credit monitoring, all that good stuff, but there's no website that does it all bulked up into one in one place. You're not paying for several different subscriptions on different websites. It's all in one place, and they're able to cut that bill down for you in more than half. Because of Aura, the days of you having to get an antivirus or a password management or a VPN are officially out of the door, because they're going to do everything for you in one space. So hey, look, you guys can go right ahead and let people exploit your own private information, or you can go to the link in the description box below and pinned in the comment section below to go ahead and sign up for your 14-day free trial over at Aura. Yes, guys, link in the description box below and pin in the comment section. Free 14-day trial. It doesn't have to cost you anything to make sure you and your family are safe. But getting back to today's video, like I mentioned, they had to be willing to put themselves in a negative cap space in order to release DeVante Parker right now. They could have been in a better situation if they were able to actually trade him right now, which, again, I truly believe they were trying to do. Whether it was a conditional 7th round pick, whether it was a conditional 6th round pick, they don't care what they got. Just please take this guy off of our hands, and that would have been the best case situation for them. But again, if you weren't able to cut him, or excuse me, we weren't able to trade him right now, then why are we not going to release him a post-June 1st designation? Because that is much easier for you against the cap versus what they did right now, which all screams to me, we have enough money. We're fine with taking on a couple $1 million cap hit against us in order to release you, which I think says a lot about the. So if we go ahead and we look at DeVante Parker's contract, we see that a pre-June cut is going to give them about $6.3 million in dead money, while only freeing up about $143,000 in cap savings. Now, Miguel over at Pat's Cap did tweet out that the DeVante Parker release is, or excuse me, the DeVante Parker release and the Antonio Gibson signing is going to put the Patriots right now at about $80 million in cap space, which is about $2 million decrease from what he had before. But this doesn't include the Kendrick Bourne deal yet either. So with that being said, the Patriots are only clearing up $143,000 in cap space. That is pretty much next to nothing. Now, if we go here and we look and we see let's cut him post June 1st, basically meaning that, yeah, the Patriots have to wait till after free agency. They have to wait till after the draft. But ultimately, they're going to be freeing up more money, significantly more money, while taking on less of a dead money. $4.7 million in dead money if they cut him after June 1st, while freeing up $1.7 million in cap savings. Again, I think right now they're thinking longer term in terms of roster space, snap counts, the outlook of the team, and just no point having DeVante Parker here if they know that he isn't going to be a part of this team. But also looking at it from the trade perspective, if the Patriots were able to have traded DeVante Parker, they would have taken on $3.1 million in dead money while freeing up $3.3 million via trade. So I do wonder if the Patriots and Gerard Mayo were aggressive with trying to trade DeVante Parker, because in my opinion, it shocked me that Parker wasn't being taken on by a flyer, by any other team, a 7th-round pick or a 6th-round pick, because he's 31. There's questions about his motivation and where he's at this point in his career, but he only had a $6.4 million cap hit this year and a $6.5 million cap hit next year, with being able to get out of his contract a whole lot easier after this 2024 season. So it did surprise me. Ultimately, no one did take a chance on that, and it does make me wonder how bad they tried to make a trade for DeVante Parker. Because realistically, if you say, I will trade DeVante Parker and a 6th or a 7th round pick to you, I think that there would have been a team that would have taken on that $6.5 million cap. So Parker will now hit the open market, and I'm sure that there will be at least a couple teams who will be interested in bringing him in, seeing what he has in the tank, and signing him to a contract. It would surprise me if he goes throughout this entire offseason not going signed. And look, I'm not saying he's going to sign today. I'm not saying he's going to sign tomorrow. But I'm saying at some point this offseason, I think that he will ultimately get a flyer with the team. But the Patriots are releasing DeVante Parker. That wide receiver core is shrinking just a little bit more, and that need for wide receiver is definitely getting a little bit bigger. What are your guys' thoughts on this move? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and of course, never forget,